Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today it is time for my September monthly eyeshadow palette ranking. I've got 10 palettes I used this month and they were not all good. They were not indeed all good. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Before we get too far into the ranking, if you have not already, I would love it if you consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It is totally free to subscribe and I would love to have you back again on the channel for more makeup content. Alright, so as per usual, we are starting from the worst and going to the best, and this is a combination of things that are very old and very new. So, starting in number 10, this is the Spanglish palette from Alamar Cosmetics. Now, I guess I will say, you know, this, I say it's bad, right? But it's okay. If this disappeared from my collection today, I would not repurchase it. And to me, that means I don't really like it. The mattes are okay. I feel like I have to work a little bit more to blend them than some other formulas from some other brands. But this is actually the eyeshadow palette I'm wearing today. So you can blend it. It is possible, but it takes more effort. The shimmers are extremely dry. There's a lot of fallout. Luckily, I was able to wipe it away. I will say I don't think I have used this, or if I have, I don't remember, with a glitter primer, so maybe using a little bit more of a tacky base would make them more impactful and not give you as much fallout, but it's just not the best. The color story is fine. I love purple eyeshadow. I do wish there was maybe one deeper matte to deepen up a little bit because everything's pretty light with this one. I was playing with this one because I have an upcoming video that I'm calling very mindful, very demure eyeshadow palette. So I was looking for things like this that are not necessarily neutral, but are more of like a lighter or muted color story. And I wanted to put this one in that video, but honestly, I just don't think I can recommend it. In number 9 from Menagerie Cosmetics is the Indigo Ink palette. I think this one is discontinued, at least in its current form. You might be able to get singles. I love the artwork. And the shimmers I've used from this palette are really, really good. Like this Shell Yeah is like this goldy peachy with a green flip. It's really, really pretty. This Ink Floyd, there's almost like these punchy neons that are actually really good, not patchy at all. However, not everything is not patchy. The blues, I had some issues with them being kind of patchy and having to like pack it on to get it to not do like the zebra stripe patchiness situation. And I used my same brushes and application that I use with like all my palettes. So I feel like it's a thing with this palette and not necessarily me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really like the color story and the quality is certainly better than the Alamar Cosmetics ones was, but it just didn't stack up consistently across all the shades for me to rank it any higher than that. In number 8 from Huda Beauty is the Wild Jaguar palette. I had this one out from a collab I did with some other creators. I'll leave that linked if you haven't seen it yet and you're interested. I like this color story a lot. Similar to the others, it's only ranked lower because there was kind of one of those, again, crumbly shimmers with like not that much pigmentation. Everything else I've used from this palette has been great. It's just this one. I don't know what it is with that shadow, but it's the only one that's done that to me. So that's like easy for me to rank stuff lower personally if there's even one dud shade, so it's only one shade, so it got ranked a little higher, but any dud shades, there shouldn't be any dud shades in palettes that we're buying, you guys, so that's easy for me to rank it lower. Now that we're in number 7 and up, there were no duds in the formulation, so ranking from here on out doesn't have anything to do with formulation. From Colored Rain, this is the Queen of Hearts palette. Yes, it finally came. I'll link my video talking about some shady brand happenings that I had, and this palette was one of them. Waited over 6 months for this with no correspondence from the brand. Very happy it eventually showed up. Wouldn't recommend ordering from them because of the way they handled that situation, but at least I got what I paid for because I was worried I wasn't going to. That's happened to me before as well, where a brand has literally taken my money, an indie brand, not delivered the product, and then said peace out, deleted their page, and you basically, if you paid through like PayPal or something at that point, you might be able to get your money back, but ooh, it's it's rough. So here's the color story, and I do like this one. I've worn this to work a few times, and it's really great to get either a neutral look or that classic, I feel like 2000, maybe 14, 15, whenever it was, when that was just like all warm tones. This is that palette. And honestly, this palette may have first come out around that time. Wonder what, it says 2023 on it. I know it came out originally, and this was like the last time they were doing it. But I actually have really liked the formula. There's no multi-chromes or shifty shades or anything, but the metallics are just like a really rich, creamy formula that I have been liking a lot. But unfortunately, I don't recommend this brand and can't rank it any higher just because of the bad service I got from the brand, and yeah, that kind of affected it in the ranking, I guess. And number 6 from Jaclyn Cosmetics is the Luxe Legacy palette. Now this by any means is not like a knock your socks off palette, but man, the bar was kind of low before this, right? So this isn't all warm tones. In fact, this is more leaning cool. The mattes are incredible in this one, I will say. I really loved the matte formula that they had. The shimmers on their own are okay, but with a glitter primer, they pop and are beautiful. So this one has potential, but the shimmers are definitely way better in the palettes going forward. Now these weren't like dry and crumbly like the lower ones, so I gave them, you know, more points than that. They're just kind of lackluster without the glitter primer to like really give them something to adhere to and show their full potential. In number 5 and up, it's all indie brands. Who's surprised? Come on, that's just the most elite eyeshadow. Sorry, it is. Number 5 from Odin's Eye, I pulled out the Snow Dream palette. Yes, I know it's a Christmas themed palette. Yes, I know it is not Christmas, but this color story, you can do a lot of not Christmassy things, right? If you do the red and green together, sure, you're gonna get Christmas, but I was doing some like all green looks because there's this kind of unique, I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it's not quite mint, but it's like a very muted green. It's not pastel either. It's hard to describe. But I did some monochromatic green looks with this one, deepened it up and did the green shimmer down here. I did some just like brown and gold looks that were really pretty. I did the red and the purple this month. So yeah, lots of things that didn't scream Christmas. And I do really like both the mattes and the shimmers in this one. I feel like I've had mixed feelings about different Odin's Eye palettes in the past, but I do like this one. I do. It just wasn't like the most sparkly and or shifty and or impressive and or color story of my dreams this month. I know, that was a lot of contingencies. And number 4 is the Element 115. Last time I used this wasn't blown away. It's not that it's bad. Adept is just so good that my expectations are on another level. But I've mostly just done blue and purple looks with this one before. But this month I did one with Gimbal Video, which is the gold, and Weather Balloon, which is one of the, I think it's a hollow chrome with like all the rainbows in it. And I layered them together and it was so pretty. And it had more of that textured the texture that I'm used to from Adept. Sometimes they have now, I feel like these shimmers that are really smooth, and I'm not a fan. I like the more like chunky in a good way, like textured eyeshadow. So yeah, I'm have renewed hope for this one again after the last time I've used it and was like, oh, so there's maybe more to this than I thought the first time, and I did like it a lot better, so I wanted to rank it higher because of that. And number 3 from Glaminatrix Cosmetics, the Sugar and Spice palette. Oh, you guys, this one, incredible. The shifts, they also have that textured kind of a shimmer, and I really like the matte selection. They're very easy to use, and yeah, I think, what's my favorite shade in here? Basil's gotta be up there. This kind of purpley blue one. What else? What would I say is my favorite? I don't know, that might be it. Nutmeg if I'm doing like a neutral look with the mattes. But other than that, Basil for sure. I love that there's like these pastel purple and mint green in here, the yellow. It's weird because it's like this, you could see it being like fall or winter, but then there's like a spring palette in here as well. So it's very versatile and like multi-seasonal, and the quality's just amazing. I really want their newest palette that they came out with, but I have so many. I'm on a low buy. I'm trying to be good and just use the things I have. That being said, while that one is amazing, it wasn't the number one. Like, I think just theming and color story and stuff came into my top 2. In number 2, the Moonlit Marsh palette. This is the collab between NBA Cosmetics and Basket Case Beauty. I've talked about this one before on my channel. It's been number 1 in a ranking before. Man, number 1 was just on another level this month. It was really, really hard to rank, I think, these top 3. 2 and 3, this one and the Sugar and Spice, I went back and forth a couple times because, yeah, this one too, I think what kept it from number 1 is there's a few shades I've used now, Alligator and Bogland, that are this more smooth shimmer formula. It's okay, but it's just okay. The like Moss, you've got to be able to see here the texture difference, right? Like this is a shimmer with all this texture. This is also a shimmer, no texture. It's just like a very flat metallic, not a lot of sparkle either. So it's okay, but it's like I almost use it borderline as a satin shade. And then the mattes are lovely. So I think really these 2 shades on the edges, those 2 shimmers, are what kept this from being in first place for me. But I still love this one. It's one of my favorite purchases of the year for sure. The colors aren't even the thing, it's the formula in that last one. And in number 1, this just came back into stock on their site if you're interested, but the Adept Cosmetics Legends of Ardra. Now, when I say I was disappointed in Element 115, palettes like this are why I was disappointed in that. Not only does it have this amazing, like, holographic, just such pretty packaging, but hello. I don't know that you'll be able to see the amount of sparkle that we have, but these are like molten liquid metals because of how sparkly and they are textured that they are. And we've got holochromes. Oh my gosh, like Imposter is a beautiful holochrome. And we have these super cool marbled shades. And these are not like a Nomad Cosmetics is what comes to mind. They did the national parks where it's not like, you know, you swirl it and you're like, oh, this is all it is. You swirl it and you're like, oh, this is what this is? They are bioluminescent. I mean, how do I describe this? You really can't even see on camera how, like, fluorescent isn't the right word, but it's like they glow. It's like they glow. It's so cool, especially up against a darker matte. It's maybe my favorite Adept Cosmetics palette now. Yeah, I think this might be number 1 now. Wow, it's been a while since I've ranked all of my Adept Cosmetics palettes, and I don't own everything. I really would like to get Cyborg Choir. That's one I don't have that I've been looking at a lot in Sumerian Sunset. But this too, if you don't know, it's Star Trek themed, and that just speaks to my nerdy heart. Love it so much. So this is just the full, absolute full stop package for me, and it's gonna be hard to top. It's gonna be really hard to top. I think the only way something else wouldn't be number 1 is if I didn't use this that month. That's how strongly I feel about this one. So if you are into this color story at all, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I really don't. So yeah, guys, that is all 10 palettes that I used in the month of September. Let me know what you used. What did you think of my ranking? And thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end. I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye.